Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pizza Time Chronicles. Listen, we got a great episode for you today because, see, I got a great guest. We have Daniel Santos, one of the youngest regional vice presidents for Primerica. How are you doing, Daniel?
I am doing phenomenal. Thank you so much for having me on here, man.
And Daniel, let the people know who you are.
Yeah, most definitely. So my name is Daniel Santos, Regional Vice President. I run a financial firm here in Berks County, have about 45 advisors I mentor and train, and I've been in about like 6 years, and it goes a little bit deeper. It goes a little bit deeper than that, though. I'm training for an Ironman right now, and which is 125 miles biking, 3 miles swimming, 2.5 miles swimming, and 26 miles of running. Training for that. I was American Ninja Warrior, ran marathons, and yeah, just striving really big in personal development, just striving to become the best version of myself, and being a great leader and impacting a lot of people's lives. So that's a little background about me.
And Daniel has so much energy. Listen, if you think I have a lot of energy, this man, he's lives with so much passion and purpose. He's changing people's lives on the daily. What this guy's doing is amazing. So Daniel, I just want to jump into some questions with you because today's topic is financial literacy, one of the most underrated things that's not ever talked about really in a young life. But Daniel, how important is financial literacy and how important it is to obtain those things?
Yeah, most definitely. Financial literacy is everything. Whenever I sit down with families, and I probably have close to 2,000-3,000 clients now, and 45 advisors, and all over the United States, and it's so important because we know finance is number one cause of stress, number one cause of divorce. And people, it's not something that we're educated about in schools, right? And what we find is that most people, they don't have a financial coach, they don't have financial education, and they don't have a financial game plan. And myself, when I was 19 years old, I was in college for business, and I was going to college, and I was like, man, I don't really make sense of it because I was learning business from people who never really owned businesses before, So I was like, you know what, let me go and branch off on my own and go work for, work for someone who owns a business, and have them mentor me and train me. And that's when, Primerica fell in my lap, and they came over, sat down with my parents, helped them out with their finance. My parents were 63 and 65, never sat down with anyone in regards to insurance, investments, debt, and no one ever sat down and educated them. And I was able to see firsthand experience what we do for middle-class families. Primerica focused on sitting down with the 95% that has never sat down with anyone financially, and we focus on educating them. We know that as we empower the people, they'll be able to make the best decisions for themselves. So that's why we put financial education first and foremost. A lot of financial companies out there focus on selling products. We focus on educating because we know that if we can educate them, they're going to make great decisions. And then after the education piece, we give them a free financial game plan called a financial needs analysis. Shows them 3 different things, It shows them the exact day they're going to be debt-free, how much money they need to have saved up for retirement, and then how much insurance they would need in case something were to happen too soon. And then what they do is they get a financial coach for life. We're able to help them start saving and investing for those $25 a month in a Roth IRA or a short-term account, averaging 10 to 12% interest. We're able to help them get properly protected with life insurance. We're able to help them. We give them the exact day they're going to be debt-free. So, and we're there for every step of the way. If they get let go of a job, if they change job, if they buy a house, we're helping them save and invest towards those goals. So that's a little background on as far as financial literacy and why I believe it's so important.
See, some people will hear that answer and they'll say, what the hell is he talking about? But see, this is important because I feel with financial literacy, I think people get reckless with their money at one point in their life or another. They see this pizza hoodie and they think it's a good investment. But they see, my next question was, what type of small investments can you make now, no matter what age you are, that can lead into getting to that financial freedom?
Oh yeah, most definitely. So to go off of your investments, I guess I could share because a lot of people are like, oh, Daniel, what are your, mistakes that you made? And I wouldn't say the mistakes at all. I think they're great investments, you know, but as far as a financial advisor looking inwards, you know, it's like, oh, maybe, you know, it wasn't the best asset to invest into, but some not so good assets that I invested into, you know, where, you know, my Tesla, you know, dropped 60 grand on that, and maybe wasn't the best one. I could have invested into a multi-unit property at that point, you know, but I decided to go to Tesla. But in my mind, I was like, you know what, I'll save $400 a month on gas. So it's a great, you know, so that was one. And then, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, Daniel, you could get a multi. So I've been procrastinating with multi-units for a while just because I don't know too much about real estate investment properties. I'm more of stocks and bonds, which is what I'll talk about with you here, small investments. But I moved into the Loft and Narrows apartment, luxury apartment here. You know, it's like $2,000 a month, and you know, they're like, oh, you could use that for your own place, but I just wanted to get out of it, and there's a pool and roof and everything like that. It's amazing. So blessed. And some of the best investments, though, those are some, you know, maybe not my best, but definitely my favorite ones. But some of the best investments to invest in that are small would be that are my field of expertise. All right, because there's a lot of people that invest in stocks, Forex, Bitcoin. There's a lot of stuff out there. You know, it's very, very risky. And I tell people they're great. Go and learn about it, but do it with your play money. Don't do it with your emergency fund money. Don't do it with your retirement assets. You know, do it with your play money, right? Make sure you have your emergency fund. If you guys know Dave Ramsey, great podcast. It's called Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey on podcast. And you can find that and follow it. And he talks about number one, and he used to work with my company, and he talks about number one, the first baby step is to get $1,000 set up. You know, a lot of people, you know, they don't even have an emergency fund in place. And what happens when emergency comes up? They have to pull out credit cards. And now instead of having money working for them, now it's working against them, right? And now they're paying 17, 25% interest on a credit card, and that's not the best. So what we find, Gio, is that most people, they don't plan to fail with their finances, is fail to ever get a plan, you know, and that's our job, is to help them get a plan. So another good investment, you know, it would be, so there's, I really talk about 3 different buckets of investments for somebody. And this is what I got started with at 19. They explained this to me. I was like, all right, super simple. Number one is the emergency fund. You know, most people save theirs at the bank. You know, I tell people keep a few grand at the bank, but if it's any more than 5-10 grand, you know, I'll start investing in and have it working for you. Average is like 4% rate of return. They could touch it at any time, no penalties. It's invested in municipal bonds, 100% bonds, very safe. And if it's in the state, it's triple tax free as well. And the minimum someone needs to put into it, usually someone needs $2,000 to $3,000 to invest in these mutual funds. So that's why most people don't know about it. And to work with a financial advisor from Merrill Lynch and Morgan Stanley, someone would need $250,000. He was sit down with them. So, you know, my whole family put together when I first started didn't have $250,000. So no one I knew could have been my client. But with Primerica, I was able to help out everybody. So $25 a month in an emergency fund, averaging 4%, $25 a month in a short-term fund. This is saving up for a car, a house, kids' college. This is averaging 8 to 10%. This is for like 3 years out to like retirement, you know, in that middle gap. All right. And that one we want to grow as big as possible, but the minimum is $25 in there. And the last one is like the Roth IRA, 401k, traditional IRA. And the advantage of a Roth IRA is you get to take out everything tax-free come around retirement. And that's the advantage. The maximum you could do up until age 50 is $6,000. And once you hit age 50, you could put in $7,000 a year. So I tell that comes out to $500 a month if you're underneath the age of 50. And I tell people do as much as possible towards a Roth, and because you could take whatever you put into it out at any time. The short term, you could take whatever you put into it. And the only thing is, if you want to touch the interest, it's a 10% penalty on the Roth IRA before 59 and a half, right? And that one's averaging 10 to 12% interest, right? So these are all buckets that people could touch at any time. And most people have money sitting in the bank, and they just don't know that they could start saving. See, a lot of people are like, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, Gio, right? And I tell them, pay yourself first. You know, just like the mortgage comes out, and just like the car payment comes out, just like all the bills come out, treat yourself like a bill every single month. And just like all those things come out, block off. For me, when I was 19, I started putting $75 away, $25 in each bucket. And then what I do is I was like, man, you know, this is actually, and it was a big like financial responsibility for me, because I think I was working at like Arby's and Alcon. You know, I wasn't making, you know, too much money. I was living paycheck to paycheck. But as I started getting consistent, I started proving to myself that I could be consistent with $75 a month. Now I was like, man, why don't I bump it up to 150? Why don't I bump it up to 300? And then before I knew it, I was saving over $1,000 a month as a 20-year-old into these investment buckets, you know, as my income went up, you know, but, and as I started paying down other debt, and I started doing more and more and more. And that's really how someone can really get ahead and build long-term wealth. If I didn't make it in Primerica, and thank God that, you know, I'm regional vice president now, and, you know, and the company treats me really good where I can run my own business. But if I didn't make it, just from these financial concepts I just went over with you, someone can be stone cold wealthy, and they can learn how to use interest for themselves. Does that make sense, Gio?
Yes, it did. And there was a lot of
Awesome.
information there. Listen, guys, this is going to be recorded. So if you need to see this a couple times, make sure you
Listen
just
to it over and
scroll
over.
back in and you come back again. But obviously, what I'm taking from this answer, there's definitely a lot of discipline. You need to have a lot of discipline and how you want to treat yourself. And just knowing that what we're in right now, it's probably one of the best times to save money with this pandemic. You know, obviously, just people they want to spend everything because they've been held back. They haven't been able to treat themselves. They kind of had to stay inside. They had no choice. And do you think this is one of the best times to really invest in yourself, especially considering that you had the time to really think about maybe this is the direction that I want to? Do you personally think during this pandemic was one of the best times to discipline yourself with money?
Yeah, actually, I really do, because I have a few $1,000,000 of clients' money invested with me, and I get phone calls from them like, man, Daniel, the stock market's a little crazy right now, and I'm like, yeah, it's a little crazy right now. 2008, 2008, there's a big stock market crash. Stock market went down 42%. You know, in the beginning of this year, the stock market went down a lot. People were scared, and, you know, the only way someone would really lose money if they took their money out, or they changed it to really conservative at that point. But if they would have kept it in, or if they would invest, I tell people to invest more money because they're buying all the shares at discount, right? And now at that point, now they're getting everything at discount, and so now is the time. You know, back in 2008, that's when most billionaires, millionaires, most of the successful businesses today got started in 2008. Got started and when people were struggling the most, because people learned to be resourceful. Tony Robbins says it's not about the lack of resources, about the lack of resourcefulness, right? So, but if we can learn to be resourceful with the little resources that we have, you know, imagine once, you know, things start shaping up. And now is the time to be disciplined. A lot of people, you know, we really struggle with, you know, being at home a lot, and people struggle with depression and anxiety. And I have definitely in the past as well, but it's able to take the small steps in the right direction. A book I really recommend is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And it talks about how the small steps in the right direction will take our lives in a great place, right? But it's the small habits, the small daily habits to turn our life around, you know, and just as far as taking action right now, you know, if someone waits until age, you know, let's say someone just waits, Gio, until age 40, you know, and they're saving $200 a month. Someone could start saving $200 a month at age 25. Right now, I'm 25, $200 a month. They would have about like $945,000 if they just average 9%. And that's $50. Oh, my battery. I got 10% left, so I'm good. And $50 a week, $200 a month, they're 940 grand. If they wait 1 year, they're going to be missing out on like 90 grand. If they wait 5 years, they're going to be missing out on like 300 grand. If they wait till age 40, which is the average age people start saving and investing, they're going to be missing out on like $700,000, you know, and most people can't recuperate from it. So it takes like you said, exactly, man, it's discipline. It takes a little bit of discipline right now to give up the small thing. But that's what I tell people. If you're saving and investing, you don't have to, you know, you can still go out and have fun, but just make sure you're putting a little bit aside. You know, you're building that habit. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch of money, and it'll be so worth it.
Of course. And, you know, probably there's one thing he's going to take from that. A lot of people just heard that you're 25 and they're probably going to think, oh my God, I'm not that far away. Guys, I'm only 21. He's 25. We're not that far apart. You know, a lot can be done, especially in your young age. And Daniel, so I have two more questions for you. One,
Mm-hmm.
which age group do you think makes the most financially reckless decisions?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely 18 to, I'd say 18 to like 32. 18 to 32. It's, because, or I mean, you could even go younger than that, 18 to like 25. It's like most people at like age 25, they start maturing. Yeah. Hey, man, I do too. You know where all my money goes? To food. I just love eating food. I remember I grew up youngest of 7 kids, and I grew up like super poor, and I just remember we never went out to eat. Like, and if we did, it was dollar menu. And I remember like going out to eat one time. I'm like, man, I just want to be wealthy one day and have enough money where I can go to a restaurant and order anything I want and not have to look at the price, and that's what ended up happening. And I just worked towards it. But to go off of your question, the age is probably like 18 to 25. And, it's because a lot of people are like, oh, I have time on my side, but that's the thing, man, is that, have fun and everything, but still make good decisions.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a super stickler, because I still have fun. I have my party years, and everything like that. I travel a lot. I have a blast. I have nice things too, but still take those small steps, those small disciplines, and educate yourself. The best investment that you can ever make is into yourself. Stocks, bonds, those are all great. Real estate is great, but into yourself is the most important. Reading books, going to seminars, listening to audios, and so that's what I recommend.
And honestly, you mentioned food. You like to buy food. And
Oh,
you already
yeah.
know what my question to you is going to be. What is your favorite pizza, and which pizzeria do you recommend?
Oh, which pizzeria? You caught me off guard with that one. Which pizzeria? I'm gonna answer that other one first. All right. So my favorite pizza, I might get stoned for this or something, but people, I see these polls on Facebook all the time about like pineapple pizza is like this. I love pineapple pizza. Pineapple pizza, and I don't even like it with ham on it. I just like straight pineapple pizza,
Okay.
and black olives. I like not combined. I
Okay.
never try to combine. I just go half and half. Like half, and I eat the whole thing, bro. People think like I have a really fast metabolism. I put that on the whole large pizza.
You
And
got to. There's no other way to do it.
facts. And as far as my favorite restaurant, favorite pizza, let me shout out one of my clients here, Russo's Pizza over on Penn Street. There we go.
Okay,
Russo's
yes.
Pizza. I just ran past it. Yep. Carlos and Nicole Saguro. If you guys are listening to this, shout you guys out. Their pizza's bomb. Their deep dish, like chicken bacon ranch pizza. Ooh.
I love Russo's too. I know what you're talking about. Listen, I'm a pizza aficionado when it comes to exactly. Oh my God. So far we got Pizza Time. We got Houston. We got Star Pizza. I believe that's what it was called. I got to check my other episodes. I'm starting to forget now. We got Tommy Boy's Pizza in Kutztown. And now we got Russo's Pizza. Oh my God. This is a great episode. A lot of information was shared here. Guys, make sure you rewatch this episode. Do not just watch this and not scroll back. Daniel shared a lot of diamonds here today. Take this and make sure you reach out to Daniel. He loves to help people. He got a great business opportunity. He would love to show you it. So Daniel, any final messages?
Yeah, most definitely. Any way I can help, I just encourage you guys to just keep on getting better in every single way. Gio, you're such an amazing person, and I see you constantly trying to get better physically, mentally, spiritually, psychologically, and all that will turn into a better life financially. And then you guys can find me either on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram. Facebook is just Daniel Santos. Instagram is I am Daniel Santos. Snapchat is Daniel Santos 212.
All right.
So yeah. And anything other last questions?
Nothing else. Everybody, make sure you continue to follow the Pizza Time Chronicles. We got more amazing guests just like Daniel coming on to the show. You're going to love the next episode, including the next one, because it's going to be a surprise. So we got a lot coming on to the show. Thank you, Daniel, so much.
Boom.